Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction and haunted entertainment industry. Whether you're just an actor, owner, or plain old aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And this is another one of those very special episodes. Well, it's not that special.
It's just divisible by 4. And
Yes.
what's that mean?
We're doing the news. That's right, folks. If it makes a real whole number when divided by 4, no fractions or decimals allowed in these here parts.
Oh, God.
We do the news. And so, yes, we have all the greatest and latest news of the haunted entertainment, haunted attraction industry coming up in just a moment. I'm excited. This is a great episode, I think.
Well, at least all the ones that we could find.
Yeah, all the ones we can find.
We're still looking for others, so if you have something and want to shout out, send it to us.
Yes, if we miss a news story, reach out to us on Twitter at Haunt Weekly or on Facebook at Haunt Weekly, so we can tell it, and we may just include it as a shout out in a later episode.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the result of the searching, basically.
Yes.
So yes, but first thing is always first. We have our conference reminders. Who wants the honor of kicking off this week?
I think I did last week, so
I
it's up
started
to
this
you.
week. Well, all right, folks. Coming up next, August 12th through the 14th, my birthday sandwich neatly between those 2 days. It is the Chicago Room Escape Conference at Chicago. Big surprise there. You can learn more at the roomescapeshow.com, put on by the wonderful people behind Transworld and a bunch of other conferences in our industry. So definitely check it out if you are so inclined.
Yep. Then we have August 27th and 28th, Halloween and Haunt Fest. It's at the Arlington Convention Center in Arlington, Texas. HalloweenandHaunt.com for more information. Thanks again to
Getting close to season for most of us.
Yes.
You can go to Mask Marriott Indianapolis East in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's a lot of Indy.
Right. And then we have Legendary Haunt Tour, November 11th and 12th, just after season. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. It's also put on by the Transworld people. And you'll be visiting Scare House and 100 Acres Manor if you plan on going and visiting that.
Should
And
be,
Legendary Haunt Tour with 2Ts.com.
And yes, the hotel is still TBA. I just pulled it up here to make sure that our notes were correct on that. So I have no idea where you're staying, but it's coming and it's going to be awesome.
Stay in Pittsburgh. That should cover you.
All right. Following that, now we get into some we're adding this week. We got 2 new ones. This 2017 a little bit.
We are, and basically what we came up with is if registration's open, you should probably know about
You
it.
probably should know. So we're going to try to find the conferences with open registration and let you know. On that note, the Halloween and Party Expo is January 14th through 17th. And New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm not familiar with this town.
Me either.
I've never heard of it.
Never been there.
Well, if you can find it on a map, go look it up. I'm sure it's lovely. It's at the big convention center. There'll be some 350 vendors there. Fair warning, though, you will have to provide verification that you are a business to attend. Only businesses are allowed to go. You can learn more and do the registration process at Halloween Party Expo.
Dates, January 26th through the 30th. Nashville, Tennessee. Tour 26th.
Yes.
Nashville Nightmare Saturday, January 28th. And Slot.com to look up more information. I do know that they usually have early bird specials, so be on the aware of that.
They have not announced the speakers yet, but if you are interested in speaking, you can apply.
Spoke last year.
I did, and it seemed to go really, really well.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Talked about copyright and trade. Cool.
Yes, you're always entertaining.
Yes, I am. I am never dull.
No.
Never. All right. Well, on that note, like we said on the intro, this is the news, episode 36, and so we are going to kick off a lot of interesting news from around the haunted attraction industry this week. First off, this week we have an article here from the Boston Globe all about a new haunted house that will be opening up this year that will be taking place on a deactivated World War II cruiser.
Right.
This...
And according to the article, they have done a haunt event there in past years, but the last 2 years they have not been able to
do it for various reasons.
Yeah,
they didn't specify why, but it's been on hold for 2 years. And now a proprietor by the name of Matthew DeRobert.
Or D. Robert.
It's got an O at the end of it.
Not on my notes.
Okay, that's a copy-paste problem on my part in the article.
Okay.
But long and short of it is, he had wanted to put an attraction in the area called Island. He wanted to open it up on Castle Island nearby. This is all taking place...
Near Boston,
yes. The usual reasons we hear about haunted attractions being rebuffed.
Right, so he was turned down for that location. Knowing the history of the USS Salem, decided to get in touch with them and say, hey, why haven't you guys done your...
A lot of money into this.
Yeah.
We'll be opening up a new attraction this year. This is some...
So, as long as anything he brings in is fireproof, metal catching fire.
Yeah.
So...
It does eliminate some of the fireproofing issues.
Yeah.
Like they have something like Charleston Harbor in South Carolina.
There's one in Baton Rouge.
And one in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, in fact, we're hoping that the Blood Vessel over in Lake Charles is open this year.
There you go. And really, really great guys. Really awesome. They met them in a market to go and do it, but they were taking a 1-year hiatus.
Right.
So if they're open in 20 full schedule, that is actually pretty possible.
Yay!
Now, what's interesting
More
is
haunted houses.
the ship is also home to the U.S. Naval Shipbuilding Museum.
Yes.
Which I'm not sure if that museum sounds awesome or it goes to show that they have the electrical and everything else hooked up to this.
Right.
But yes, they hope that this will raise the profile of the museum and also basically bring in some additional funds for it.
Yeah.
And so this is I'm really fascinated by this story because, like I said, we talked about the Blood Vessel.
Yeah.
I love the idea of haunted attractions and ships.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. As I remember though, lots of little ladders that were really tight quarters. So I'm a little bit worried about that.
Well, they've already retrofitted it some for the museum.
Right.
They probably made other things and other changes.
I'm hoping. That's my only concern about, haunted houses on ships.
That is getting around the bleeding ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I'm personally very fond of this idea.
Yeah, how do they have their egress set up?
I don't know. Yeah, I have to...
There's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, I have to suspect that there are exceptions to the fire code rules for a historical landmarks like this.
Right. And
for ships in general, because I don't know this, I suspect this. Yeah. But you know what? We should really ask the people at the Blood Vessel about this. Now, this is another haunt opening story here. A new haunt map. It's like it's on the coast of Maryland. Dude, it's on the ocean. Right, the town shares a border with Pennsylvania. But Ocean City Screams this season.
Right.
It's open now, basically.
Yeah.
As we're recording this in early August.
Right.
It seems like it opened just after we recorded the last news podcast.
Okay.
It's put on by...
So I think we've actually met them too.
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons I pointed it out.
Yeah. So not newbies at the haunt industry.
No.
They've got us full.
And in the article here on Delmarva, Delmarva now sits.
Oh, wow.
I see.
Education here.
Geography. You do not expect a geography. Welcome. You may worship me now. It's interesting, though, because it's a year-round haunt. It employs a couple dozen actors. The page seems to be popular. They've got good reviews already.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm happy for it around haunts and why there are so few. And I think a place like Ocean City,
doing it with more than just one actor. Unlike the Ripley's.
The hardest working men in haunting.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
I'm glad they're actually recruiting a few dozen people. It seems like a really, really cool haunt. These are expert. I did not check the other two, but I know Field of Screams isn't.
Right.
First year around haunt.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys. Really, really rooting for you on this one.
Yeah. Make it work.
Make it work. Dang it. Get to work.
We want to see this work.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's talk Ghostbusters for a minute. And yes, the new movie to a degree, but not. We're talking about Ghostbusters and haunting right now.
Okay.
Because I'm not stepping into that one. I'm not. Mama didn't raise an idiot.
Well, and we haven't seen it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it either.
So we really can't give commentary on
it. But according to an article in Orlando Weekly, Ghostbusters is getting the haunted attraction treatment.
Yeah.
Just not in the United States.
Huh. Well.
Yeah. 2 attractions. One is in Ocean Park in Hong Kong, China. Will convert its existing haunted attraction to be a Ghostbusters theme sometime this fall. And Sunway Lagoon season will be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Now, I could actually play in China.
Okay.
The Chinese government has...
Right.
So Ghostbusters could not play in China.
Okay.
At least not expert in what films are allowed to play in China. But I remember reading about Ghostbusters not being in China. Hong Kong... My question is, how well is the market... That's a very good question, isn't it?
It is a good question.
Now, it is the internet. As we were reminded when we were in line at the Insanitarium. We got us an internet, oh God.
Yes.
I know you have internet, okay? That wasn't the problem.
Yes.
The problem was if you cared what we thought.
Yeah. The thing is that we like to think of ourselves as unknowns. Turns out,
we're like the wrong level of known.
Yeah.
We're not really celebrities in any stretch. But
back to Hong Kong.
But anyways, and the other reason this is interesting, and we're getting to it in just a moment, we're talking about Universal Halloween Horror Nights in a second, and that's why I put these two together. Ghostbusters has been a very key part of Universal for some time. And, like, they'll bring Ecto-1 into the park and, leave it, and they'll do Ghostbusters stage shows sometimes. So Ghostbusters has been a pretty big deal at Universal Orlando.
How did they get the licensing in China? Or are they...
Licensed.
Okay.
It's a pretty big park. From what I understand, if I'm reading this correctly, their main competition is Disneyland. Correctly. So the result of that is... these parks are doing it legitimately, and they typically handle... It's interesting, and you see this when you... and another one is Hong Kong Disneyland is their main competition. Hong Kong Disneyland. Across the... But no, one thing I noticed from working in copyright is record labels, movie studios, etc. do things with licensing and doing in North America or Western Europe.
Huh.
Like, are allowing basically the Russian Facebook VKontakte to stream. They're striking deals in Russia that they would never strike in the United States. So I suspect that might... I think it might... Is it Universal?
I'm not sure.
But the result of it is there's also an element of it of wanting to stick it to Disney, I think, a little bit in this. Which it's true, though. Then when you get competitive...
As most companies do.
You kind of want to do what you can to beat your opposition whenever and wherever you can, and this is an opportunity for them to do so.
Right.
And it's Columbia Pictures that produced Ghostbusters.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just interesting that, yes, Ghostbusters is getting haunted attractions, just none in the United States. Now, they did mention in this article, something I think we need to add to the topic list is virtual reality seems to be becoming a...
it's been making a push into new industries. But wasn't the original Ghostbusters set in New York?
Yes.
So do a virtual reality of the city that you're standing in being destroyed. Yeah.
Anyways, on to Halloween Horror Night. Freddy v. Jason is the latest in the announcements for a...
Right.
So this is a 2-for-1, because you get Freddy and Jason.
Right.
It's like you're getting both. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
It is. Yeah.
Another movies-related story coming up. All the movies have...
Right.
They've all at least been divisive films. But I think the real reason they did it is obviously so they could have Freddy and...
reason why to include them both. The question is, how are they going to... I don't know. Because, there are different sets, and there is a...
But yeah, they've announced the Freddy vs. Jason attraction. It will join a Halloween theme about this. It's like Halloween, The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy v. Jason.
Yeah.
One of these things is not,
Well, and the other thing is that it's also newer.
Yeah.
Than the others that are being highlighted.
Yeah, that is true. They've been kind of doing like a classics
Right.
Freddy v. Jason, by the way, was released in 2003, so it's not super recent. Yeah, it's only got 41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And only 50% with the audience score. So...
Yeah, but it's definitely the newest out of the list.
Oh, out of this list, yeah, because with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't remember when exactly it was released in time.
Yeah.
And Halloween, too. Yeah, they're all in that same span there. Like, it's popular, but I do think has promise as a haunted attraction because of the two title kids. I never actually saw Freddy v. Jason.
No, we
all these others I've seen.
It was remade in 2013.
Yeah, we're not kidding. Remakes aren't counted here.
Okay.
Not for the purpose of this conversation. Remakes can be
Hopefully
good.
they're not going to be counting it.
No,
they're not.
For the purpose of discussing older versus newer films, you look to the original date. Remakes here. Though I am very worried about Peach Dragon on that front.
Yeah.
I'm
How
really worried.
the hell are they going to discuss those topics in today's atmosphere?
I've heard that they don't. I've heard that they don't.
Exactly. They're making a different movie. Well, they shouldn't even share a title.
Well, it's weird because, okay, this is total aside here. There's 3 Disney...
Go aside?
I know. There's 3 Disney live-action animation hybrid films that came out in sequence.
Right.
First was Mary Poppins. Big, huge hit. Everyone loved it. Disney wanted to make more. That one dealt with women's suffrage.
Yeah.
Dealt with bank collapse.
Yes.
Dealt with absentee parents.
Yeah.
Dealt with a lot of pretty hardcore stuff, if you think about it.
Right.
So they got the Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which was the next one, Angela Lansbury, and they're like, well, how do we up that? I know, World War II.
Yeah.
It's all about World War. It's all about the war and last.
Yeah.
And like, how are we going to do that? I know, child slavery.
Yes.
Good job, Disney.
Yeah.
You just kept getting the topics progressively more hardcore. Amusement parks. Six Flags Magic Mountain in Los Angeles announced they are doing a Suicide Squad themed haunted attraction. What was the Rotten Tomatoes on that one? I'm curious.
It was not good because we heard a lot of people aggravated by the scores.
Yeah, and some people, there was even like a petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes.
Because that's going to happen.
Oh, this is weird. Okay, I pulled it up. Full here, we've not seen it.
No.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it to the reviews. Critics gave it 26%. And the audience 3, which means if you add them up, you've almost got a perfect 100.
Yeah, but that's not how averages work.
It's not.
It's how adding. It is, and I wonder how many of the 76% actually saw the movie before they rated it.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyways, they are doing a Suicide Squad. In this big press release, there will be a 40,000 square foot outdoor maze of its kind.
Yeah. You remember our feelings on
it's another just to throw me into a maze randomly in the middle of a haunt or the end of a haunt.
Yeah, I don't think I
that's a lot of maze.
that's a lot of maze, and
there's like a laser tag type place here in New Orleans. And it's tiny. It's not a very big maze thing. It's probably the size of our property.
It's
of a suburban.
It's smaller. Hour and a half.
I think we spent closer to 30 to 40 minutes in there. But we were also trying to get all the... Maybe one of the reasons why a 40,000 square foot maze is not the best place for us. Yeah. Territory Twisted, the largest scare vault 666, and Willoughby Garden. That's 3, I believe those are 3 more mazes. Screwed that up. There's a line break there.
There is.
As well as themed Chupacabra will all be there. So it sounds like a lot of fun. And once again, here's hoping that both critics and audiences alike themed attraction.
Yes, which was the whole reason for us talking about that.
Yes. So yeah, this should be pretty interesting. I mean, here's the thing, Universal is pretty well known for their Halloween Horror Nights outside of the haunt community. This is the 24th season for them to do this.
Right.
And I only learned about it like a few years back that Six Flags Magic Mountain did it.
Right.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, Six Flags has always been... Okay. There's no polite way to put this.
Okay.
But it's kind of been the second.
Yeah.
In public opinion, like... It was like,
that was Paramount operated at the time.
Right, Paramount operated. Paramount was every 4 years. But Six Flags somehow was cheaper. It wasn't as it was seen as a lesser park, even though it had just as many rides.
You know, and it's kind of weird ones, which had a lot of the same stuff as Astro World.
Right.
Because I remember you and I when we first met.
Yeah.
And then we figured out the reason was because the parks were owned by the same people and had a lot of the Heroines was the cheap one you went to all the time. I think I only went to Six Flags over George, so it's just it was a much bigger deal to go to and much expensive.
Huh. That is interesting, because I had just the opposite experience.
Yeah, and that's necessarily the reason, or maybe it's just that they don't promote their horror element. I think one of the big problems, because they own the movies, has this stable of characters a mile deep.
Oh, yeah, they've got...
Universal. They own the rights to a slew of modern monsters, horror villains.
Yeah, and, and basically it's Universal. Are you going to Universal? Or are you going to Disneyland?
Exactly, that's... And you might stop.
So yeah, it's Universal or Disney, and Universal.
At least it doesn't feel like it. At least not in the marketing. Maybe you're right.
Six Flags is very locally marketed.
It was pretty. Actually, no, it wasn't very heavily promoted locally.
No, they had the little
action.
Right.
Kind of after it flooded, Katrina is. Like in large blocks.
Yeah.
Because they were running those commercials. And I know one time the park's under 12 feet of water and they're running commercials to get people to go.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up.
Security guards do not recommend. Do not trespass.
Though we know people...
It looks cool, but don't do it.
Yeah, look up Jazzland photos on the internet. A whole mess of them.
Right.
That will probably keep you satiated for a time.
Yeah, maybe that's who should buy Jazzland is somebody from the haunt industry.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Just clean out the mold and your
Good luck.
The theme is an abandoned amusement park. That's your theme.
You could probably film the Killing Joke there if you did a live action version of the Killing Joke.
You definitely could, yeah.
That'd be a good place. And actually, they do shoot a lot of movies there. That is one of the things they do actually do.
Yeah.
And they need a creepy abandoned amusement park that's not too far away.
Right.
Six Flags Jazzland, still somewhat standing.
Yeah.
Well, anyways. So yeah, Suicide Squad themed Halloween attraction this year at Six Flags. So tell us your experiences with this and why it seems like Six Flags might be lagging a little bit behind. I always thought the Six Flags parks were great.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with one of the parks.
No.
It's just like you said, there's this perception at least that it's a second tier park.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Tell us your experiences, and we'd love to hear. Once again, Haunt Weekly on Twitter and Facebook. All right, moving to attraction and haunted entertainment industry. Well, if you're in Las Vegas, can I highly recommend actors, entertainers, and others for their 14th year.
Yeah, that's a big anniversary
from here. But yeah, they are staffing 6 haunted attractions. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Auditions, if you are so inclined, are in various states. I would just check out, I mistyped that into the notes as Fight Dome, which I think is something very different.
Yes. Yes, you don't talk about Fight Dome.
No, virtual about Fight Dome. We don't talk about Fight Dome. Yes, but they have various dates for auditions starting August 19th and carrying all the way through September.
Right. The other thing is, if you are a fan of haunted attractions and you listen to...
Now is the time, by the way. Visit their websites. Pull up their employment page, pull up their volunteer. You probably can get in on the ground floor of the season.
Yeah.
But also to me in February and say, I want to volunteer in the haunt. Come September, I'm going to totally forget who. So now is a good time for that. Check out the employment and or volunteer pages and or hopefully one or the other.
Right.
at your them or reach out on Facebook or whatever.
Call them, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
get in touch.
Get in touch with them somehow.
I'm sure they'd love to hear.
Right. Now, this next story is a little bit of a personal one for us.
Right.
It turns 10 this year, a 10-year anniversary,
Yes.
And it's reopening despite expectations at Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know why, I just nearly put in Indiana. Apparently I want to put it in, kept saying Indiana repeatedly.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how this works. I don't think I quite have that power. This is a pretty well-known haunt. Regionally, the customers sign waivers before they can enter as a full contact former soap factory, I believe.
Right.
I don't think the soap factory is operational.
No, it's now a that's safe to say.
We'll use that. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's establishment. Go to episodes 9 and 11 of Haunt Weekly. Told us a great deal about it and shared a lot of stories from it. And it's very, very interesting.
The factory itself, since they are having a 10-year
Yeah, 10-year anniversary. Yeah, it's very interesting that they were able to make it this far. And like I said, there was some fear that they might not be able to reopen this year.
Right. I had honestly thought that they had been shuttered already because of the way that he has talked about it.
Yeah.
But apparently I misunderstood.
Yeah, misunderstood, and apparently they are opening up this year. So, yeah, check it out. And if you're in the area, give it your attendance. Check it out.
Yeah, I've heard that they've got some really creative scares. Yeah. When you work with artists, that kind of happens.
Well, and I watched the
Not
promo
that we
video
aren't
for the
all
new
artists.
season.
Yeah.
And one of the things that urban unnerve you.
That's pretty much how the scares that he's describing would work, yeah.
I think that is a fairly accurate portrayal of
those scares that are going to stay with you. You know, the ones you're going to be talking about years from now.
Yeah. From last season, I still remember really well, like when haunts we visited.
Right.
Just things that really click, and you can't stop thinking about them, because either they were imaginative, they were some kind of real, visceral emotion in you.
Yeah.
So, episodes we talked about touch versus no touch haunts, as well as distract and startle.
Yes.
And the touch versus no touch one was the haunts he worked at that had more restricted policies.
Yeah.
Because we never actually worked at a touch haunt. And I'm actually kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Many haunts choose to go that route.
Right.
All right, our final story. An Alabama couple is buying a home. Long and short of this is above an article in the Glasgow Daily Times. Glasgow not being in
Makes sense.
reasons, just reasons. But Brian and Debbie Thorpe, a Western-themed roadside attraction in Cave City. Cave City apparently city and there's no caves. It's like an immediate letdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the tourists go there to tour the caves.
Right.
So there was an attraction called Haunted Attraction. And according to Brian, he said it was the first haunt he ever visited.
Yeah.
And it was the moment he fell in love with haunting, according to him.
Right.
And now he's purchased it, and he can't wait to open it up and make it his full-time business.
That would be awesome to be able
to do that.
No, me either. Yeah.
And my first haunt was a JC haunt in a county. Gone, buried, and I'm pretty sure most of the people who worked in it are dead by now.
They may be incarcerated.
Dead or in jail. Yeah. Either way. Doesn't want him to turn it into more of a year-round haunted house for the tourist area.
Right.
And things in there. It's got like a saloon set up. It's got all these Western things. And he buys it, and the first thing
Of course.
What would you start with?
Yeah.
The idea of buying your first haunt.
Yeah.
Which I guess if I could physically buy my second. It's still in business. Could theoretically buy it. And I think it was Leonard Pickles' haunt.
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Because I had no idea he ran that haunt. But apparently the way he described it, and when we talked to him, a unit of a strip mall.
Right.
The whole thing's a horseshoe. It's built, and the whole thing's just a giant horseshoe. And there's an actor run in the middle of it, haunt and forward again. And he ran the entire haunt nuts. But yeah, basically he would sell you the ticket, send you in, go scare.
Very small put through.
Yeah, your throughput on that's going to suffer a little. And I can't pinpoint the exact moment I decided I wanted to open a haunted house.
Right.
But I think I already had the bug by then.
Talk about what we wanted to do to scare trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
So I grew up thinking of ways to scare.
Similar, we would build things and have complicated scenes. I never thought of it as home haunting as a kid. I didn't call it home haunting. I mean, what we have now in the garage is definitely a home haunt.
Oh yeah.
When you cross the threshold somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
Going to a haunt as a kid, getting the bug, and decades later coming back, buying
it is.
I really, really love that. So, I have a little time left over. So,
right.
Anything interesting you want to talk about further from the news this week? Maybe we blew through something.
I don't think so. I was trying to confirm that the information one of our friends sent us about a year-round haunted attraction that's now hiring.
Okay.
Over in Nevada.
Yeah, that's a good
point. In Arizona.
Yeah.
I was trying to confirm that this was the same one in the news, but I haven't been able to find it yet.
Urgh.
Darn you for posting so much stuff.
Yes, you people are so communicative.
Yeah.
Which we actually love, but right now it's just our internet's moving like garbage. It's one of the reasons we're recording. Because we can't do anything else online. But no, I did want to touch back on the haunted ship idea.
Okay.
Because the thing about it I've always wondered, and like you were talking about, what do you have to do to one of these ships to make it a viable haunted attraction?
Yeah. Like I said, I've been on one of those ships. And as we're little.
Yeah.
As grown adults, I'm not sure I could fit down there.
You know, I bet you could, A. But B, yeah, you're right. So it's probably going to require a fair amount of work. But like I said, this one's already a museum. The one we talked about earlier is already a museum. So they've obviously done something to it already.
Right. Well, the one I had gone on was a museum.
It was a museum of the ship itself, right?
Right.
Not
so basically,
a shipbuilding museum.
Right.
Which sounds more like a traditional walk-in, walk-around museum.
It does. So that could be...
So that could be part of the difference there.
Yeah, but I mean, talking about the different regulations, I'm sure that they're different. And the reason I think that they're different is because we have casinos on ships here.
Yeah.
Which follow completely different regulations than casinos on...
The casino, the ship thing. Because like Boomtown is the casino closest to us, I believe, is Boomtown.
Right.
And usually I go there for other people.
Right.
If I'm going. But it's interesting because they have a building on dry land. And then there's this big, huge ramp that you would not know that you're leaving one building and going to another. You know, it's just a big, huge carpeted hallway. You swear it's just like any other wide hallway. And then you get onto the slot machines and the gambling taking place.
Right.
So, God, it's really bizarre. A haunted attraction on a ship here in New Orleans. That sounds doable.
Yeah. Especially...
We got a couple of ferry terminals that aren't being used for anything.
Right. Ferry terminals and warships visiting the city to take tours of them in their original condition. Yeah, a couple years ago.
It was a couple of years ago, they were doing this big thing for some military holiday. I don't remember what, a craft carrier destroyer.
Yeah.
Basically, they had the entire contents of the game Battleship.
Pictures.
Yes, we have pictures of it, and I still can't find the little two-hole. I don't know which one that is.
It's the dinghy.
It's whatever it is. That's how like every game of Battleship yeah. That thing's got 5 holes in it. You're going to find it. Anyway. Ghostbusters not getting a haunted attraction in the United States.
Ew,
Unless Universal announces it unexpectedly. I think I'm wrong. Maybe there's more announcements, but unless they announce it like right before the launch of season, horror-ish thing. Now, I think one of the reasons Universal's not doing it here is Halloween Horror and Ghostbusters, at the end of the day, all of them are comedies.
Yeah.
With more serious slashers.
Right.
I think that could be a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah.
That, and you can still get some pretty rockin' scares out of it. Some good startles at the very least. You might not upset and not scary.
Right. And if you did want to do a kid-themed one...
Well, that'd be awesome. You get like a proton pack with a laser in it.
Yep.
That could be a lot of play.
You want to go play, yeah.
I don't want to make it. That sounds like work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, real quick.
Yes.
We missed this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So
yeah, I was seeing if they had announced their theme yet.
We are a year older than the mortuary?
Yes, we are.
Actually, no, we're 2 years older than the mortuary.
Yeah.
I realize that.
Yep.
I thought we started at the same time, but we started very close, obviously. So, 2017 will be their 10-year anniversary.
This is their 10-year season.
Yeah, that's pretty... Well, we were a little disappointed in theme last year, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Watch it there, but yeah, that'd be interesting. The mortuary's turning 10, and of course House of Shock is coming. Action, I guess. Yeah,
I guess maybe they're dropping that.
But you could pretty much look at the calendar, because they always do Fridays and Saturdays through October, basically.
Yeah, and it as last year.
I think it's going to be largely the same.
Yep. Yeah, and they're opening September. Local news.
Yeah, local news there. Okay. But here's the thing. Good, popular film in order to have a good, popular haunted attraction based on it.
No. That fans of the film will appreciate the details from the film, but I think people who have no idea what you're referencing will just be scared by the scary things that are there.
But one of the reasons you do this, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here for the record.
Oh, I understand.
One of the things...
Yes, we're trying to fill time because we ran out of news.
We ran out. We were too good at talking about news now.
Yeah.
No, but one of the things that's interesting to me is the reason you do this, the reason you do a Ghostbusters haunted attraction, you do Freddy v. Jason or whatever,
right,
is for that name draw.
Yeah.
Do you think that exists if the movie was unpopular or divisive? Not that any of these were bad films, it's just...
Yeah.
They have not done as well, at least critically, or, you know what I mean?
Like...
we're stacking them up against, like, Halloween and The Exorcist here. It's not even fair, really.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm trying to remember the name of that movies in our time.
Yes.
And I would love to see some of the better ones of those turned into haunted houses.
Like which one?
In the insane asylum.
Oh,
I mean, it's just...
100 Tears?
Yes, 100. People who are familiar with the film going through it would have a great experience because it's a scary haunted house. Doesn't necessarily have to rely on a movie to get them there.
And I agree with that, but one that's tough.
Well, yeah.
Because, a comic book to a film or a video game to a film...
fails a lot.
It's difficult enough. And
oh my God, don't do that. You're giving out bad advice.
I'm giving out terrible advice. And one of the things I think is that you cannot tell the same story. 2 hours of time cannot be told in a haunted attraction.
Be shorter, but you can hit the bullet points of the main story. You know.
Yeah, I just think that I cannot imagine, like with the Halloween house that's coming up at Universal. I can't imagine they're going to retell the story of Halloween.
No, which is why I don't know that knowing that it's from that is necessarily a big deal. But you know what would be cool?
What?
Is if somebody showed a movie, and then as you're going out the exit, you walked into a haunted house that was based on the movie that you just saw.
That would be interesting, but I don't think it's very practical for
Well, no,
reasons.
It's not practical. I didn't say it was practical. I just thought it was an interesting idea.
Yeah. Into a haunt. So we've never done Universal Horror Nights. We've never been geographically close enough to do it.
Right.
Would love that attraction legally licensed.
Right.
That based its attraction illegally.
Yeah.
We actually acted in one. The point of the matter is, I've never actually seen that, so I'm curious and thinking hypotheticals. And like I said, if we have enough trouble going from comic book to film,
I think it's the same thing that we were talking about with the stories that you put out for the haunt. It's your 30-second elevator pitch, your 3-minute YouTube video, and then your full-length feature.
Yeah.
I think that if to your YouTube video, which is just going to be the highlights, then I think that that's a good comparison to make.
Yeah. Well, I think with that, one of the things that you're going to have to change when you take a movie into a haunted attraction is the problem is movies, horror films in particular, depend heavily on tension.
Right.
And use of nothingness in order to build that tension. Good horror films do this. You don't get as much of a chance to do that in a haunted attraction.
Well,
you have to be more judicious with your downtime.
Well, you do, but I don't know if that applies to Universal.
True.
Because they have all the sets. They have all the sets already, and you're basically walking through the movie as a given, you know. So I think that they do have time to build in some of that where a smaller haunt wouldn't. Yeah.
But I just wanted to come back to those two issues because I felt like we blew through them. Send us any information about haunted attractions that are hiring.
Yep.
We're keeping our ear to the ground. We're hiring. Maybe we'll start doing that as part of the reminders before some episodes.
Right.
Haunts and get some new blood in. But yeah, so that's something else we should definitely be doing. But anyways, sorry. But the reason, and I realized this, the reason we were so fast, it was all good.
News.
No
Yay.
bad news week. So yes, no news is good news, quite literally this time. So thank you very much for joining us and spending this very, very near hour with us. Apologize. We will be back next week with another regular episode. But until then, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this was Haunt Weekly, episode 36, doing the news. Once again, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We're Haunt Weekly at both. And the new website is still forthcoming, I promise you. I've seen it, okay? I have seen it. It looks great.
I just wasn't going to mention it at all.
Oh, I'm mentioning it. We'll see you guys next week.